Today we are going to, understand a very important topic. Okay, and we have in your general section you can see multiple options are there. We have something known as append variable and something known as set variable. Okay, so first of all we should understand the concept of variable. So previously we have already done a couple of studies related to parameters. Okay, so we know what is the meaning of parameter. So parameter is basically if we want to make something reusable. Something means if you want to make your pipeline, okay, reusable, you build the parameter. Okay, what is the meaning of reusable? The meaning of reusable is very simple. In case if you have a sales data, imagine sales data.csv. This is your file available in your data storage ADLS Gen 2, right? So this is the file available in your ADLS container, okay? And you want to load this sales data. Uh, Imagine you are trying to load the sales data in Azure SQL DB. Okay, so in your Azure SQL DB, you have some table known as sales table are there, right? So you are creating a pipeline. This is what we have done. We have created an ADF pipeline that is having a simple copy activity within this pipeline. And the purpose of copy activity, you already know, it moves the data from source to sink. So what is your source? Source is your ADLS Gen 2. Okay. So in source, this is nothing but your source, and this is your sink. Okay, so source is your ADLS Gen 2 container, and sink is your SQL DB. So if you have created a pipeline which is having the copy activity, right? So basically, it moves the data from source to sink. Now, if we have number of files, like if we have sales, employee, vendor, there are many number of files. For example, if we have 50 files, okay, and if we have 50 different tables, we have to load in the 50 different tables. Then what we have learned, instead of creating 50 different pipelines, what we can do, we can create one pipeline, but we can make the pipeline parameterized, and we can make the pipeline parameterized for the data set. So there are two options we have used in the previous case studies. We have parameterized the data set, and we have also parameterized your pipeline, right? So this is what we have done so far. So this is already covered during our last previous examples, right? And this has make our job easier. How it make the ADF parameterized. So now this ADF pipeline can be reused, okay, without creating a new fresh one for each and every file, right? So it is encouraging your reusability, as well as it will allow you to pass the value dynamically. When I'm saying dynamically, for every run the file name of source will change, and for sync the table name is changing. So there are two concepts which parameter is used. Okay, now talking about variables. So it's very important to understand the concept of variable. Okay, now imagine, I'm just explaining this with a scenario, how variable works. Okay, how it is different from the parameter. Okay, now if we talk about variables, in mathematics also we know what is variables. If we have something known as x, right, and if we have an expression like 2x plus 1, simple expression. Just a second. This is my expression. So if x value is 0, the value will be 1. If x value is 1, the value will be 3, right? If x value is 4, value will be 5. Okay. If x value is 2, the value will be sorry, this should be 5. Anyways, so the value of this variable depend on variable x. In a similar way, what it is happening is, if so this variable is specific to this function, okay, and we can change the value of the functions one by one. So we can go and find the result related to different values, sequence of values, right? So this is how variable works. Got it? So what we can do here, also the variable meaning is same. So first of all, parameter is is um, is for entire pipeline execution, right? So for example, when you're executing any pipeline, Okay, you are giving the file name and table name. Agreed? So for example, if you want to run for sales data, you are giving a file name like sales.csv, something like that, if you are dealing with parameters. And for table name, you will give the table name as sales. So your your ADF will only run for this source and this sink, right? So throughout the execution of the pipeline, your parameter will remain same, right? But that is not the case with variable. So variable, if you're creating a variable, first of all, it is not meant for your pipeline execution. The variable is meant for some calculations and logics and logical operations. So variable is meant for operations, calculations, or some logic. Okay. And the value of variable will change. Okay, so for example, if I take the same example, like if I'm having a sales data, employee data, right, vendor data. So we have couple of files. Okay, we have product data. Right, imagine these are the data we are having. Where we are having this data available in my ADLS container, ADLS Gen 2 container, right? Now, if I want to load this data in SQLDB. But this time I'm not having all these files. All these tables are not there. For example, for sales data, we have sales table. For employee data, we were having employee table. But now this time, this is not the case, right? We have something different. We have something like we have a sales data. Imagine this scenario, and we have something known as non-sales data. So what does it mean? My pipeline should, identify the pipeline should identify which one is a sales data and which is not belongs to sales data. So if it is a sales data, the pipeline should decide on the basis of this piece of information that what will be my sink. My sink will be sales. And if it is any data other than sales, my pipeline will push the entire data into non-sales, right? So this is very different with whatever we have done so far. So basically we can handle this with the help of variable. So variable is meant for operations within the pipeline, calculations within the pipelines, giving some logic within the pipelines, right? So uh, it's not relevant for execution of the pipeline, but parameter is relevant for execution of the pipeline. So variable is something which is internal to the pipeline, right? But parameter is not internal to the pipeline. Parameter is for execution purpose. So you can say it is external actually. So externally you are providing the value of the parameter, and based on that parameter your pipeline will run. But variable, you have some list of items, and based on that list your pipeline will perform some operations. This is one such example I have given, right? So let's do some kind of practice right now. Okay, so let me implement this first. Okay, so I can name my pipeline as pl underscore variable. Okay, just a second, pl underscore variable scenario, something like that. Okay, I'm going to hide this. Now what I'm going to do is, first of all, let me show you the container where I'm having all these files, right? So I'm going to go inside my container. I can see what file I'm having. I can directly go to container, and if okay, so okay, so you can see this file, sales underscore uk, sales underscore us, and we have sales underscore in. Okay, I can show you these files. So these are simple sales file. Don't worry about the data because I just captured the name. Okay, the data is having multiple countries and regions, so just avoid it. Just remember that this is having some kind of file, okay, having these entries. So we have actually three files are there with me. Okay, what are those files? We have a file like sales underscore India. We have file like sales underscore US. Okay, we have file like sales underscore UK. Okay, all these files are available in my input container, right? Now what I want to do, Okay, I want to, create something, right? I want to do a copy activity. Okay, and let me show you. There's a one pipeline which I already created, the similar kind of pipeline. Okay, and how this is working, right? So we have a set variables. This is the same thing we are going to implement right now. Okay, we have a set variables, and basically what we are doing, first of all, we are creating a parameter. The pipeline file name is a parameter, and we can you can avoid this or you can give any value. Okay, like one value is there. Then we can create a variable to decide a region. Okay, so this value is not there. Okay, this value we will calculate in the set variable part. Okay, so let's go one by one instead of going it like this. So immediately what I am going to do is I am going to first of all bring one set variable. Okay, but no variable is created as of now. So to deal with set variable, there should be a variable created. So where I can create the variable, I can hit on the white canvas. I can go, these are the sections: parameter, variable, setting, output. Okay, so first of all let's create a parameter, because we there should be something we can feed for execution of the pipeline. So when we execute the pipeline, I can give the name of the file, the name of the file. So I'm giving file name as a parameter. Okay, and let's you can make this empty as well, no problem. I'm making this empty. Okay, now we can go to region. So I'm just creating a variable known as region. Very simple concept, right? So this is done at pipeline level. So I'm, because I hit on the white canvas and then I created parameter and variable. So this both things is now available at pipeline level. Okay, later on I will tell you how, why we are doing this. Now we can hit on the set variables. So what I'm trying to do, I want to, whatever variable I have created, so whatever variable, so I have created region variable. So how the region variable will be getting data, so we will define this in this node set variable. So we need to set the value of the variable region. Okay, so now again I'm going back to this thing to explain you what I'm trying to do. So actually I am having a, imagine I'm having a file name sales underscore ind India. Okay, and I have created a variable name as region. Okay, so you, on the basis of this file name, my variable will identify this belongs to which region. So this belongs to India region. So variable value should come as in. And on the basis of this, what I will do, I will load this data. Okay, and I will store this as in a output file. Okay, this is what I want to do. So for example, if I am having a directory name as sales data directory, right? And sales data directory for East and sales data directory for West, something like that, right? So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to, distribute from East to West. So imagine India is a Eastern country and US and UK is a Western country, something like that. Okay, if I want to do like this, or I want to create the file as it is. Anyways, so how I can create the value? If I remove sales underscore from this file name, the region value will come. Correct. Same logic we are going to apply it here. So we can just rename this as set region variable, because we have created region as a new variable. So I am going to give this name. Then I can go to settings. Inside setting, you can see there are two types. One is pipeline variable and pipeline return value, because we have created a pipeline variable. So it is, you can put the cursor on this eye icon and you can read if you want. Choose which type of variable you wish to set. Pipeline variables are user defined variables. So if you are selecting pipeline variable, the user have to enter that. User have to enter the value of the variable, right? And pipeline return value is a system variable. So what do you know about system variable? So system variable is basically, we have a lot of things in a system variable. If you want to learn about the system variables, you can go to Google and type system variables in ADF. Okay, and the learn Microsoft website will come. You can hit on this and you can see what all system variables we are having. We are having these many system variables. So if you want to use data factory and all these things, so all these system variables you can use. So we are not going in depth of this. We can use schedule, trigger, scope. So these all are system variables. We can read, you can read about it. So basically, if you have to use data factory pipeline name, you can use it. Okay. So anyway, we are not going to that level. We are defining our own variable, which is known as a region. So we will use this, pipeline variable. So if you hit on this, then you can see, if you, let's imagine if you are hitting on system variable, right? If you go to new, then you can define anything new and you can do that. Okay, so I'm not going there. I'm going with whatever variable I have defined at a pipeline level. So it will come like region, because region only we have defined. Now it is asking for a value. You have to supply the value, right? So I can supply the value like India, US, UK, right? So this will become a list of variables, right? So we cannot supply this here. We have to supply only one value, because this will not entertain your array. So what if you are separating the list from comma, this will become an array. Okay, so we will talk about that later. Okay, because we have append variable option to handle the comma separated array the values, right? So we should not mix two things here. So if I don't want to put India, right, what I can do, I can hit on this dynamic content, and I can, what I can do, if I want to calculate the value of the variable, and this is my parameter, this sales underscore in is nothing but a value available in my parameter, and my parameter name was file name, right? So if I replace the value of this file name, if I do some kind of expression and replace sales underscore, then in will be left, right? So same logic we will apply here. What we will do, we will go to functions and we can search for replace. Okay, we can hit here also, or I would prefer just type @replace. Okay, then it comes, you can hit here, right? So what it will do, it will replace from where. So guys, if you are doing control F in a similar manner here in Excel, if you go to replace, it is asking find what and replace with. The same option is available here also, right? First thing is you have to find what. So what you have to find, you have to go inside the parameter and you have to find within the file name, right? This is what we are doing, right? Within the file name, my file name is sales underscore in. So we have to find sales underscore. So we have to first go inside the file name parameter. So I have gone inside the file name parameter, which is defined at pipeline level. Then I have to search for sales underscore, right? So I will type, because this sales underscore is a string. So whenever you are using a string, you have to use the single quotes. Now you will use sales underscore, right? This, because same thing you are finding out. If you will search the sales underscore and you will replace this sales underscore using blank, right? So blank will be nothing but blank is again a kind of string, right? So we will use single quote. So two single quotes will give a blank. If you put a space, this is not blank, right? This is a space. So you have to remove the space also. This will become a blank, right? So if you hit here, so using this, the value of parameter will come as a region. So if this sales value is sales underscore US, okay, the value will become US. Okay, if you are putting UK, sales underscore UK, the value will become UK, right? And here we can see how we can debug this. And okay, it is asking for parameter name. So I can type sales underscore any country I can type. I can do Pakistan, PAK, right? And I can hit on OK. So what will be my value? So value set will be my Pakistan, right? You can see the value is Pakistan for region variable, right? So this way we can deal with any, we can set the value against any variable. Okay, and one more important thing which I want to cover is value is of four types, right? What are those? Value is of type string. And what kind of value we have created right now? We have created a string variable. Value could of type integer, if you want to create any integer value. as a variable you can supply, right? Value could be of bool type. Bool type is nothing but true or false. Boolean, if you heard about boolean, boolean is a nothing but true or false. If I have to do this work, either I will do or I will not do, right? So if it is true, the value will be true, and if it is false, the value will be false, right? This is a bool. Then we have array. Array means if you have list of characters, like it could be a list of strings, list of integers, whatever it is, right? So that array will be defined with the square brackets, and within the square brackets, if we have some list like one, everything will be element will be separated with the help of comma, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4, comma 5, right? So these things are there. So for all these elements, you will use set variable node. Okay. And for array, you will use append variable node. Why you are using append variable? Because as name suggests, append is means is something you want to add within the list. So that's why for array type of variable, you will use this append variable, and for all other kind of variables, you will use set variable if you are creating the value, right? So that's why you have two options, append variable and set variables. Okay. Okay, now what we are going to do now? Now my objective is, I want to use a copy activity, simple copy activity I want to use now. Okay, so because my region is calculated, so if my region is calculated, and after this, once it is done, once variable is defined, I will use this as a copy activity. Simple, the same stuff that we have done so many times. Okay, so I will go to sync, sorry, source. Okay, and I'm having some. Okay, let me create a new data set. So I will use Gen 2 because my data is available in my Gen 2 only. Okay, and it is in CSV format. So I will use the CSV. Okay, and I will use link services now. First row would be header, and I will browse my file. Okay, so imagine if my file is there. Okay, so just now, just select any file, cs underscore in right now, correct? But I actually we will be using parameter because we were using parameterized. Any file it should accept. Why it is accepting only sales underscore in? It should not, right? So it can accept anything. Okay, so I can hit on OK. Here everything looks good, and what I can do, I can just click and modify this data set because I want to make it parameterized. If you want to rename it, rename, but otherwise you can leave as it is. So how I can make this parameterized? If you remember our last classes videos, so I can go inside the parameter, I can create a new things, okay, and I can write the input file name, okay, because I want to make the parameter different because file name I have already created here, right? If you see, I have already created file name parameter, so I cannot mix and match things, right? So this parameter I am creating, guys, try to understand. This parameter is created for pipeline execution at a pipeline level, okay? And this parameter is nothing but a source data set is there. So this parameter I am creating at a data set level, okay, just to replace the file name. So there are difference. So input file name, I'm just repeating, input file name parameter I have used, okay, and I will not give any value right now. Okay, I will go inside the connection, and instead of this file I will remove this dynamic, and what I will do, I will use this input file, simple, and I will hit on OK. Making sense? Okay. Now, if you go to the pipeline, this copy activity, right? So it is asking value for the input file. Okay. So basically the value of input file, how you have to, deal with the value of input file. So what is the value of input file? The name of input file. So name of input file will become sales underscore inc, or it will become sales underscore us. So basically we will use a variable here to define this value, we will use variable, because in variable you can see region is there, right? So if I prefix sales underscore region, right, that will be easy, right? So how we can do this? We can do this with the help of concatenate function. Concat function is there, right? So in this concat function, what I will concatenate, I will create sales underscore, and what I will do, I will create uh, okay, I should not put single quote because the next letter will be my. So what is the input file name, guys? If you see the input file name, the input file name is look like this: sales underscore uk dot csv. So three string we need to concatenate. First string will be sales underscore. The next uk will be replaced with the help of variable. This is variable value, right? And this is dot csv is the another text. Three text are there, right? So basically, how we will do this, we will write at the rate concat sales underscore, and then I will have to use variable region. Instead of uk, it will be variable option, and then I will put again comma, and then I will use dot csv. Okay, got it? So this is the things we have to do. Now we can go to sync, and in the sync again I will hit on this ADLS Gen 2. You can use SQLDB also, but to make the things smaller, I'm using SQLDB. Okay, we can go again with the same ADLS Gen 2, and this time I'm going to create out. Just simply select the output folder. Okay, and okay, let's create a directory. Let's create a sales data directory just to make my file, easily available, so that I cannot go here and there. Okay. Okay, it is, sorry, I have actually used a wrong naming convention. Everything should be in lowercase. That's the reason it's throwing an error. Okay, this time it will not throw any error. Okay, this should be none. None, why? Because we always select for a sync, there will be none option. Okay. Anyways, so this is done. But again, I need to parameterize it. Okay, so file name should be parameterized. Okay, or let's leave it as it is. So whatever file name will come, it will do similarly. So let's not parameterize at this time. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to just hit on debug. So it is asking for the file name. Now if I want to load for sales underscore us, imagine I have given sales underscore us, simple. Okay, and what is the file name? Is it a right file name? No, it is not the right file name, because .csv should be there, right? Okay. No, no, no problem. Let's do it, because we are not giving .csv because source, it is not for copying activity. It is just giving the instruction. Okay. So let's do it with sales dot underscore us only, right? Now we can see the progress. So our region variable is set. If you want to see the output of the variable, for region US has captured. Okay, now it triggered my copy activity as well. Okay, so if you hit here, it is in progress and it is succeeded also, right? So if that is the case, I can see I will refresh my output. So I'm in the input container. So I will go to container and I will go inside the output, and I can see my directory will be created, and this is my directory, right? If you go inside, sales us.csv is triggered, right? In the same manner, if I want to trigger for another, things. So this variable is deciding what files will be generated. Okay, so you will hit on this debug option, fine, and what you will do, this time you will use sales underscore India, right? And imagine I'm using PAK, Pakistan. What will happen, guys? Because I don't have a Pakistan file available, right? So what will happen? Okay, it will not run the copy activity. It will fail, right? Variable is fine. It will generate the variable as Pakistan, but it will search for the Pakistan file. But Pakistan file is not there, right? So it will fail. Yeah, it is failed. Agreed? So if I run again for sales underscore UK, this time if we have UK file, it will load the UK file. Okay. But we want to, okay, let it be completed. I want to do some more logical things here. So what I'm trying to do here. So if I am having sales underscore India, right? I want to use if condition also. If condition also, right? So if condition means if my region equals to India, okay, it should load the data. It should do the copy activity, but this time it should copy in different directory, sales underscore east direct. And if we have any other file like apart from India, if this condition is false, if this condition is false, I want to load in a different directory which is known as sales underscore others, or you can rename this as sales underscore India. Instead of east, let's do sales underscore India. Is that making sense? So this is my requirement, right? In a same option. So you can see this is also completed. So if you want to refresh once again, sales underscore UK will appear. Sales underscore UK has appeared. Got it? Let me delete this file. Okay, because I don't want to see that file. Let me delete the folder also. Inside the output, let me delete this sales, this directory as well. Okay, got it? Now because I want to do some changes, right? And what changes I want to do? Okay, before doing these changes, let me, okay, so you can see delimited text 5 is my this thing source, and delimited text 6 is my this data set for sync, right? So I'm not going to create again and again. Okay, so let me do this way. Let me just delete this. Okay, let me delete this node entirely, and what I will do, I will use if else logic. Where we have if else logic, just a second. It will be in iteration node. If you see at the bottom, iterational and conditionals, because if else logic is a condition, right? So we can use if logic. We can just connect our variable part with the if logic. And what I'm trying to build here. So we have something known as parameter. The value of the parameter is sales underscore India, or we have three parameters, sales underscore UK, or we have sales underscore US. Okay, it depends on my feed, what I'm feeding while running the pipeline. Okay, so we have three parameters. Now we have created a region, right? Region is nothing but your variable, right? This is our variable which is known as region. Okay, and region value will become dependent on these things: India, UK, US, right? This is what we have done so far. Now on the basis of this region value, I want to use if condition. So if my region equals to India, I want to perform a copy activity. What activity I want to do? I want to perform a copy activity which will copy from my source, and it will put the data in a sink. And what is my sink? In this condition, my sink should be sales underscore India. Making sense? So sales underscore India is a new directory I'm having. Okay. And if it is false, if it is having a region other than India, then my sink will be sales underscore others. Am I clear with the requirement, what I'm trying to do? Okay. So what I'm doing it here, I should make a space. I should go to if condition, hit on if condition, and you can use if condition based on region. Can I type this? Okay, based on region. So the description is, you can give any description. We can go to activity. Okay, you can go to activity and you can type expression here. What is the expression? So what is the logic behind if condition? The logic is if my variable value equal to India, right? So in expression, what I will select, I will hit on this dynamic content and I will choose variable, because I want to use if region equals to India, where I will find the region. Region is nothing but a variable. So I will go inside the variable, I will hit on this region. You can see this region is there, but we will not do as simple like we can just give equals to and it will work. It will not work, because for equal also we have a function. If you go inside the function, if you type equal, this will give equal option. Okay, you can go by this way, or you can go just put at the rate equal. This is also same thing, right? So it will give you boolean operation. The meaning of boolean is it will give you yes or no, right? So if my what is the condition? Condition should be like this. If it is true, what will be this? Otherwise, if this condition is not true, automatically system will capture this as a false. So what is the condition? If my region is true, so I will go inside the variable and I will select region. If my region is what? If my region is India, if my region is IN, then it will become true, right? Otherwise, it will become false. So this is the expression. So if it is true, what you are going to do? You are going to you are going to copy. You are going to copy the data. Okay, you can go inside the source and let's select delimited 5, right? Because this is what you have created here, okay, in the previous exercise. So we can reuse the same one, right? So this is a this data set I have already covered few minutes back. This is an input data set. So how you can give the file name? What should be the file name? The file name should be the same. You will use @concat option. Okay, and within the concat option, what you will do? You will use first of all sales underscore. Okay, and then what you will use? You will first of all use the variable, whatever variable is coming, and then you will append dot csv as well, dot csv. Okay, so this is done. This is your input file, but this time you are not going to, you just go here. This time, yeah, we have some directory, right? Okay, this is the input file. We are not generating any data, right? So this is fine, right? So input file is okay. I just want to explain you once again. If you go inside the input container, I want to explain you why it is written like this. So if you go to the input container here, you can see what is the file name we have in the input container. So in input container, we have a file name like sales underscore in, right? So this sales underscore data will be your, what kind of data it is? Will be your file name, right? So first sales underscore one is the first character you need to concatenate. The other in is your variable name, and dot csv is your third character, right? So same thing you are applying here. If you click, you can see sales underscore, then variable is in character, and this is dot csv, right? So it is explained. Now we can go to sync, and inside sync I will use again the the previously created data delimited 6, right? And here if you go inside delimited 6, this is delimited 6 text 6, right? Here we are using sales data. So instead of this, we will create another folder which is not known as sales underscore India. Am I making sense? So this directory will be created with this name, and all India data will be stored here, sales underscore India. Okay. Now I can go once again to the same one. Okay. So this is done. Fine. There is no other thing. So we can go again within the pipeline and we can go to the if condition. So we have only written the true condition. Now what is the false condition? False condition is if my region is not equals to India, that is my false condition. So in that case I will do a copy. Okay, I will select the same data set, and I will supply the same value. Like I will use this at the rate concat. Okay, and within the concat what I will do, I will use sales underscore, then I will put comma, then I will use variable name. Okay, and then I will use dot csv. For this also I will separate with comma, and in single quote I will write dot csv. Okay, now what we can do, this is done. Now we can again go to sync and use, this time, do we need to create any additional sync, or we can use the same one? I think we cannot use the same one, because if we are using the same one, if you see delimited 6, this is having this file name folder is embedded. Okay, and if you want to use the same one, then what you can do, you can hit here once again, but here we don't have anything. Okay, any variable will not be passed in the dataset level, right? So what you can do, you have to create a new one, new parameter, because you want to change the name of the directory, right? Just to change the name of the directory, you are creating a new parameter. Sorry, new data set, not the parameter. Okay, now we can click on this AD less than 2. Then instead of that, we will use the folder name as output, and within this output, what directory I want to create, I will hit on OK, and directory I want to create is sales underscore other. This is the directory it will be created, and file name will be as it is, and we will go with none option. Okay, got it. So now we are almost done. So I can just come up with this solution once again, what we have done. So here we have a variable. We have created a variable in the pipeline. We have created parameter and variable both. Variable is a string, a region. So in region variable, we are calculating the value of variable using replace function, right? So within this parameter, I'm replacing sales underscore, and I'm deciding what is the value. Value is India, US, UK, whatever it is, right? And after that, I'm going inside my if condition, and if condition, I'm checking if my variable is India. I will go to the true condition, and if I go inside the true condition is nothing but it is doing a copy activity, and it is generating the data within one directory which is known as sales underscore India. Okay, in a similar way, if it is false, right, just a second, if it is false, then it will go inside the other directory and create in sales underscore others. You can see sales underscore others, right? So anyway, we are going to first execute this pipeline. If you want to publish it, you can publish it, but I prefer first to execute. Later on, if required, I will publish, or else I will discard, right? So it is asking for the file name. So for example, if I give the file name like sales underscore India this time, right? So where this data should go? This data should go in sales underscore India. Okay. So you can see what has happened. If you see, uh, I'm just giving more space. So you can see this variable is set, right? And what is the value of variable? The variable is India, because you have given sales underscore India. Okay, got it. Then if condition is also true and it bring copy data 1, it triggered copy data 1, right? So if you want to check your data now, You can go to the output, and this time you can see only one folder was created, that is sales underscore India, right? And this has loaded with sales India data. Agreed? Now, if you run the same pipeline for any country other than India, like we have a sales underscore US, then what it will do? It will create another directory with sales underscore other, and it will store the US file. Okay, so let's wait for this to be completed. So this exercise covers not only the set variable concept, but it also covers your parameter concept, set variable concept, and if and else condition concept, and how we can, play with conditions, right? So you can see this is completed, and this time it executed copy data too. Okay. So what we can do, we can just go again once again, and we can go inside the output, and we can see there are two folders created now because in sales underscore other, the other data has entered, right? So this is working fine. This is working as expected. Now if you want to make some more changes, like copy data is nothing but copy other region data, so I can rename this also, right, to make ourselves more sensible, right? So this would be the sensible approach. If I this, because this is copying data for India region, so I can just rename copy data for India region, right? I can trigger like this. I can save like this actually, right? Then what I will do, I will go inside the other copy activity, which is under the false condition, and I can just hit on this pencil button, and instead of copy data to, I can go to general and I can rename is copy data for other region, than India. Is it making sense? So this will give you more useful scenarios. Okay. And if you want to execute once again, and what is the use of making this description? Let's find this out. Let's do it this way, sales underscore in. Okay. And if you just want to do it for India, you can see the difference. If you execute this, you can see now this has triggered copy data for India region. So from here only, from this description, you are able to identify this is only copying data for India. This is not copying data for other regions because you have supplied it for India. Is it making sense? Right. So this case study is helpful to understand the concept of variables, how to set the value of variable, and how to play with the if else logical conditions using that variable. Okay. So that's all from this case study. Thank you.